Hiring felt like a nightmare until they found us. And this is how Remote Latinos turned things around for this company.
So, Alonso, let's get started on this. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions of how was the process with Remote Latinos on this first experience that you had. So, first of all, I wanted to ask you for the whole process, how long it took you to actually hire your first VA, your first lead manager?
Yeah, the whole process took probably about, I don't even know, but it was like 3 or 4 weeks. Some of it driven by me because I had to travel in between and had to put things on hold for a number of days. But I would say effectively it was around 3 weeks, which was the time that we talked about initially. So in that sense, the timing worked as it was offered initially. So no complaints there, and it worked well.
Makes sense. So basically, we are following the expectations on the timeline that we discussed since the beginning.
Yes.
Awesome. Because I wanted to know, based on the whole experience that you had hiring Diana as your lead manager, what made the experience of hiring with Remote Latinos different than other companies?
I would say that, it was in this experience, I saw some candidates come up very quickly. So I like that because once we, went over the administrative stuff and really started working, I think I already had 2 or 3 candidates like on day one, and the interviews started happening really quickly. There was a little bit of everything, which is, some people may think it's a bad thing because there's no consistency in the candidates, but I also think that having a variety allows you to see what you prefer to have, right? Like to make a choice between, someone that can talk really good with people, can create good rapport, but has no experience in your field, versus someone that has some experience but is not as good to have the conversations. And it just allowed me to define a little better what I wanted to have. There were some really good candidates that we lost in the process. I think there's a little bit of a natural process in that because mine is a very entry level work, and those people were probably a little lower qualified. Actually, between the time I interviewed them and the time they left the process, I was thinking like, how do I use them well? Because if I give them an entry level job, they're going to leave quick because they're overqualified. So I had to kind of redefine if I could give them a different job. But I would say that at the end, I think we ended with the right candidate for what I was looking for at the beginning, which is someone with some experience in real estate, which is what I do, and a great ability to have the conversations, qualify my leads, set the appointments. So she has really good experience in that. So at the end, I think Diana is exactly what I was looking for at the beginning. So with all the ups and downs and the going in circles at some point with different candidates and rethinking stuff, I ended with exactly what I was looking for at the beginning. And I appreciate that you guys always kept that in mind and front and center. And I remember when you told me, like, we have this candidate, we know that your criteria may have shifted based on what you discussed with other candidates, but this candidate is really what you were looking for at the beginning and turned out to be that way. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate that as well. Because, of course, you know, hiring somebody is like dating at the end. We might have some ups and downs, but essentially what it matters is that at the end we can find somebody that is matching exactly what you were looking for. I believe that Diana is what you're exactly looking for because she has experience that you just mentioned, but also she will bring a lot of positive things to your company, to your process, and also for the long term. Right?
Yeah, and I am excited because I think she can hit the ground running on day one. That's what gets me more excited, right? The things we will have to figure out have nothing to do with telling her how to do her job. They will have more to do with the how do we measure things, how often, this soft stuff that in every company you have to really think about. But as for the job description, she will hit the ground running on day one. She can start making calls right away and be effective. And I think that'll be great for her, and that'll be great for our company and for me as an owner. I think again, I couldn't ask for more. So my expectations are high. I'm sure she can deliver on those, and I'm really looking forward to starting to work and hitting some much better results. And she will be a great support that will allow me to focus on other things and really, help us both deliver at a high level.
Definitely, because that was the purpose since the beginning, finding somebody who can focus on those leads, and that way you can focus on other things in your company or even in your life. So it will be giving you
Yep.
more free time for yourself. Because I wanted to know, Alonso, can you describe any specific moment or interaction that at the end impressed you of the whole process with us or with me?
Again, I would say that it was very straightforward and very clear. So there was never anything surprising in the process. There were times where I felt like, well, are we looking at the right people? A couple of times you and I discussed, like, well, I see these candidates and I don't understand necessarily why you're bringing them up. And you could always explain very well why. And as I said, that created an interesting variety. And it's not a perfect process. No process is perfect, but it was swift. It was effective, and again, at the end, I think we got to the right goal with the right timing. And I was impressed by that level of focus of, okay, here's the objective, regardless of all the conversations and everything that's changed in the process and me hesitating if I should hire this profile or that one. You guys always kept me centered into this is the objective you set from the beginning, and we're still chasing that. And that would always bring me back to that and say, like, right. I don't have to look for an acquisitions guy or someone that is super expert on something. I'm looking for someone that makes this part of my process easier. And you guys were the ones bringing me back to that frequently. So that's what I think I mostly appreciated from you and from Manuela, and kept bringing me back to anchoring me to not start you know going sideways or anything.
Definitely. Love to hear that. So, what will you tell to other business owners or people just like you who are looking for their first VA, lead managers, but in real estate or in other industries? What would you tell them about remote teams?
Well, I would say it's a serious company. It's a true partner, right? And the more clearly you can state your objectives and what you're looking for, the better they can help you. And again, it was an effective process. It was quick. It was effective. We arrived at the right goal. And you cannot ask for more than that. There's nothing like super surprising about it. It's not like outrageous levels of service. There's nothing, you know, super special about that. It's just a well-run process. It's just an effective way of approaching it, and that's what we should all ask for, right? Something that works. So that's what I would tell them. Trust the process. Be very specific. Be clear about what you want, and Remote Latinos will help you find that person you're looking for, and just trust the process, I guess.
Thank you for that, Alonso. Because during this whole process, I also love the partnership that we built together because I was able to clarify some things that you were looking for, and most of all, together we were heading to the same direction, which was at the end bringing somebody like Diana, somebody who was exactly what you were looking for.
Yep.
So finally, I just wanted to ask you, do you have any closing words, additional thoughts about it?
No, I just appreciate everything you've done. Again, I think I have the right, I was going to say candidate, but now it's the right employee and someone I can rely on. And again, very satisfied with the way the process went, very satisfied with you guys keeping me in check, not letting me go crazy with the process. And when I started having second thoughts about what I really wanted. So again, just to thank you because we arrived at the right goal in the time you had promised. And again, I don't ask for any special treatment. I just ask for processes that work, and that people stick to their word. And you guys did that 100% of the time, so can't ask for anything beyond that.
Stop scrolling and start hiring quality people from Latin America. From Mexico to Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia. Hire your next Shakira, your next Sofia Vergara. Hire your next Lionel Messi. I'll see you in the description below. Book a call with us.